last week, I had a virtual meeting with a company in Arizona that started with technology that was researched out of the University of Arizona. And it was focused on this graphite processing. So it's not just the extraction of these critical elements, but it's the processing. And in this case, we're totally reliant on China for processing of graphite. And they've created a technology that's cheaper and greener than what is available out there. And now they're located in Arizona, trying to ensure that we have these jobs in America, we bring the supply chain home. And again, I was just so proud to hear that these types of efforts were happening because this is critical for energy storage, as you all have been talking about already. It's also an element of our nuclear energy. And coming from, there's purified graphite that's important for our nuclear energy. So it's initiatives like this that are allowing us to be more reliant on ourselves with American jobs, American reliance for key elements. And it needs to happen in so many parts. But as I talked to these guys at Urbix Resources last week, we had a conversation about what else needs to be done in order to incentivize investment to come home. We did things like opportunity zones to encourage investment in distressed communities. Are there things that we can do, to any of the panelists, to incentivize investment in innovation that's bringing the supply chain home? And what more needs to be done for us to continue to invest in the research and development, for us to have those best technologies out there so we can be a leader again in the processing of these critical minerals for our national security, for other elements of our energy security. This was a great example right in Arizona with Arizona Jobs, Arizona Research. What else can we do in order to encourage that kind of investment, that kind of research to address this issue?
This is Tom Duesterberg. I'll take a stab at that. First, I think it's important to continue to do research on alternative sources of materials. There are companies out there, I know that Toyota is working on, for instance, an alternative to the lithium-ion battery. I don't know how far along that is, but that's one thing. We can incentivize research through building basic knowledge through our national labs. We do need to devote a bigger proportion of our federal budget to basic research, including in things like processing technology. Finally, I would just note, Senator, on rare earths, as you probably know, which offers tax incentives both to the producers and to the consumers of rare earth products that would probably be somewhat costly, although the numbers are not huge because rare earths they're vital, but they're not huge in quantity. But that sort of approach might be worth taking a look at as well.
Great, thank you.
I can come in as
yeah.
Thanks, Senator. I think there's twofold from my experience, or my perspective. One is actually encouraging the industry, first and foremost, these supersized battery plants, more of them to be located within the US. So actually the business case already exists for companies like Urbix to actually sell to customers within the domestic US, because at the moment, all these customers are in Asia. Yeah. So that's kind of the base level. But then you look at what the European Union does, it's quite interesting. They have founded the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, which it's kind of focused on identifying early stage companies like this and giving them access to basically debt capital, easy money, they call it no recourse capital, that allows them to develop their technology to a stage and attract capital from the private markets. And I think those two combined help start creating this ecosystem, this lithium-ion economy for the USA, where things like graphite and what Urbix are doing are crucially important, because 84% of that material is produced in China and none is produced in the US. So yeah, that's my comment.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator McSally. Let's